When I was 26, I got in a fight with 5 10-year-old black boys waiting in line at Salt and Pepper 2, 47th and Chester Ave, West Philadelphia. They tried to butt in line in front of me. Philly has a way of checking you, testing you. You don't front on the streets of Philadelphia. As the poem says, you don't bullshit the line between love and death. Philadelphia has come up with many slogans over the years, the funniest of which, Philadelphia, it's not as bad as Philadelphians say it is. Of course, the city of brotherly love. The city that loves you back, or as we used to say, the city that shoves you back. Hostile City, USA. So these 5 10-year-old kids tried to butt in line in front of me at the Korean 40 store. I told them it was unacceptable, and they stepped to me. A choice was presented to me that day: beat the shit out of 5 10-year-old kids, or let them beat the shit out of me. I decided instead to leave the city of Philadelphia. And for the next 8 to 10 years, in true Philadelphia style, I complained to anybody who would listen, I gotta get out of this place. One night, fighting with the woman I lived with, I walked through the kitchen, out the back door, got in my car, and drove to Austin, Texas. The pearl of the South, the velvet rut. And as good as this town has been to me, and it's been really good to me, it's easy to feel like I don't have any homeboys. I don't have any homegirls. No solids, no ride or dies, no blood. Easy living down here. Far be it from this town to make me soft. It's helped me relax into who I am. And in true Philadelphia style, I found a way to make it hard. The challenge for not only my sobriety, but to eliminate all intoxicants from my life is some real battle, is the true enemy. And the wall that only alcohol could lower, it stands. No one gets in. It's easy to feel like I'm all alone with my pain. I am involved in the work of peeling a very bitter onion. Peeling the layers grow back, and while involved in this work, it has afforded some truly profound and not sane at all text conversations via Facebook and telephone with my people. My people are mighty. My people are legion. My people are splitting the gut, laughing about nurses named Mary, Kate, and Ashley at St. David's West while they fight for the use of their left leg while wearing an eye patch. My people flash double dukes from their bed in the ICU at St. David's South. And the wall, well, let me tell you something about change. Change just will come. It has nothing to do with your thoughts about it. True living could be described as presence, as being there. My thoughts of the wall are what the wall is. That's what the wall is. It's just my thoughts of the wall. The actual wall, I am the wall. You are the wall. Am I alone with my pain? Of course I am. So are you. And it's cute to say that. It could bring closure to this rambling soliloquy, but I'm going to push it further and say that you got to come up here and bleed. You got to wring every drop of sweat into these boards, against this wall, under these hot lights. You got to give us your heart. We are not the dreamers of dreams. We are the word become manifest. We are the poets. It's that important. It's as important as death itself. It's like the shellac song. Didn't we deserve a look at you the way you really are? If you have to come up here and dig for your heart, then come up here and dig for it. We got shovels. Professor, we have shovels. Your insincerity will not serve you. Hiding will not keep you protected. Give us your heart. Here's the first poem. Sphinx Blues. When you're leaning into the blast, your mind and your heart are blown back. Days rise like jungles, so you see to a fly in a tarantula dream. The masks on the faces of all the players don't crack, and gods are leaning on the walls. This is the worst war, when time is clobbered and smothered in a sack. All it would take is one word from her to bring this language alive, to know the man who took a lifetime to reach you, to tell you he loved you, that you make him so proud. Thank you. Whew. I didn't expect to be so nervous up here. This is my first collection. It's called Farewell to Armor. There's a poem called I Was the King of Beers. There were 3 small rooms, and mine was the smallest. Terrible times in South Philly, brutal summers drinking Budweiser at 10th and McKean. We fall through life and look back and or pray for some wisdom, at least anyway. The hard, 2 small streets in a bad luck working class town where you learn to size up anyone in a hot minute from their eyes to their shoes, and you don't bullshit the distance between love and death. This is September, and that's a grapple. This is from September's first pressing. I'm happy to report that I poster pressed these covers, designed the book, poster pressed these covers, bound them and cut them at the Independent Publishing Resource Center up in Portland, Oregon. Did the same thing with All in the Wind. Had these bound in town, actually. Ran into a little snag with the PC police up there. 9/5. Oh, so incidentally, this book, September, you know, like the summer's over, the fun is over. This is a book about looking for the muse, you know. I quit drinking and I was like, how am I ever gonna write again? And this book is all about that. 9/5. With tactile grace, that's how September holds on to summer, barely. And these fine, sober days, tenacious and agitated, it's easy to think of time in terms of odds. You're young enough for another chance. It takes the sting out when the heat stays and the days shimmer past. But to not be right with what you know is right is to pretend. And that gives time a deadly weight. It queers you to yourself. Like you could hide and love and hate. Like you could spend any more time defending yourself. Defending yourself was just hiding, and it didn't keep you safe. There's a divide in life. You only get one side, and then the other. A divide in the days, a divide in the hours. The waves in the water warmer at the end of the summer. Your youthful vanguard and plays at romance. Your protest, your love with her. All this time spent trying not to die when dying's so easy you could have done it 10 times. Easy. But being born, it tears at the blooms, makes question their stems. This is how the truth will find you. Time running out to uncover the real lover. And were you to love her, you would die. Were you not to love her, you would not live. Thanks, y'all. I am honored to be on this bill. Jenna and Fabian are super, super talented poets. Fabian approaches poetry with an innocence that I haven't seen since I became interested in poetry many years ago. There's a play at work, in his work, that is super refreshing. It's not super laden and confessional and dark like the stuff I'm reading of mine right now. When I think of Jenna, I can't help but think of Adrienne Rich, who I love, and the verb and the infinitive that she wrote. I feel like Jenna is really doing that, looking both ways at the same time, that great poetry does. The mystery is there. So I'm very honored to be on this bill, and I'll try not to take too much of your time. This is All in the Wind, rejected, neglected, and accepted work, written between 2009, 2016. Starting with September, I vowed to self-publish a book every year for the next 10 years. This is number 2, and the years blew by, so this is a bunch of old stuff that I just had to get the book out, This is untitled. You sway, blown by 1,000 worries, and shook to the root by a great fear. You will be given things, exquisite and lovely things, and you will be stripped of things, your hands emptier than before they held. Because you miss them now, you know their value. You feel their value and their lack. Heartbreak will teach you love, victory from triumph and defeat, and from your grasping teach you how to hold, how to let go. Thank you. This has appeared in the Fredericksburg Literary Art and Review. Literary and Art Review, I always screw that up. It hit the fan. It blew apart. Some gone forever. Some might make it back. We'll smoke cigars by the roses under the cypress and laugh at this slipshod life. Class rivals beauty. She had both. I found her heart following the map of her scars. And I'll be glad to have known and proud to have loved her for one triumphant summer in this slipshod life. Consensus is a disease. The crowd is strangely masked. We worship fear and our shadows eclipse our gods. But tomorrow comes brazen, like the best surprise, gifting the thief with this slipshod life. Rain's washed out the lilies and the water's getting in. I'm soaked and bumbling in a dead language to no one. The fifth wall is rising and the radio's jammed. But without you, my address would be the wind, blown away by this slipshod life. Thank you. This one's a little dark. Papa's Blues. I owe a lot, personally, professionally, to the example led by Charles Bukowski, and I can't say enough about the man except that I call him Papa. People refer affectionately to Hemingway as Papa, but he ain't my Papa. You know what I mean? I don't hunt elephants. Damn, I thought that would get a laugh. Yeah, I don't hunt elephants. I just, drink beer and type poetry. Used to drink beer. 2 years yesterday. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was fishing for that. So this is Papa's Blues. It's about me, but I'm kind of talking in his voice. Let the flag suckers revel and foam. The agenda makers grapple and tether. The scapegoaters condemn and seethe. I've put my time in, and Mr. Room and me, we got a good thing. The peace and quiet at the end of the world is sublime. And if they're coming for me, they should bring it in case I get bored. Solitude is the ally. The dark rose beneath the cypress. Most people are lonely and unwell, and by most I mean me. If these are the end days, I'll play my music, divine my own gods, and stretch out for miles. Mastery is this, quietly working as the boot of empire digs into your back and the republic rolls over your grave.
Love and luck are with me, as they have always been. All those years chasing, all that time put in, trying for things that don't matter now. If they ever did, all in the wind. Call me nihilistic, a misanthrope, a selfish hermit who will never be anything but alone, but don't forget just one more thing, satisfied. One more? Yeah? Thanks, y'all. Great.
Charlie?
Okay, yeah, I dedicated this book to my father, so I'll read this one. Aloysius' son. At a year, you look back and it's a marvel, all the growth and movement. It was no grand and triumphant stroke. 1/365th of every bit of progress was pain. And every bright and ringing petal tore open the ground and savaged the seed. You stand at the forest's edge in spring. The same trees he took you into as kids. The same trees that when felled showed rings. In autumn, when the red in his beard flared, and he was young and proud and alive.